a relic. You guys see that relic? Wow. Alright folks, I got this Toyota Celica. It's 1999 and the battery's dead. It has some kind of parasitic draw, but the catch is that it only happens when it rains. It sat in front of the shop overnight, came out, started it up, no problem. Moved it over here, sat for a couple days, started it up, no problem. Last night it rained, and it's totally dead. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Don't know much about it, other than it's a 90s Toyota Celica, so it's got to be the best car ever made. But from the way that Max is acting, I'm guessing there's going to be some cheese-eating friends involved. Just a hunch. Anyway, let's see if it'll start. Oil filter's loose. Well, Max is still saying there's a mouse over there by that right side headlight. See, it's got a new battery. It's got some new battery terminals. I don't see anything that looks, you know, super sketchy under here. Possibly had a radiator replaced at one point. And it's leaking oil pretty bad over there on that side of the engine. The oil filter was loose. Yeah. Okay. I guess let's pop the battery cable off. We'll put an amp clamp on that. Wait for the modules to go to sleep and see what we have for a draw. I know, pup. Now, one thing I've learned about Max, his nose does not lie. If he says there's a critter in here, there's a critter in here. And that's all there is to it, isn't it, pup? Alright, we gotta set this bad boy up to amps DC and then plug in the leads to the amp side of the meter. Let's see, can I do milliamps on this thing? Well, it should do it on its own. Alright, now we wait. Well, I don't know what happened. I hooked the battery charger up to charge the battery while we were testing for the draw. And all of a sudden it jumped up to 5 amps. So something major has changed. The battery's been disconnected for, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. Well, we're still at 5 amps. And I still don't know what's going on. But I'm measuring it across the fuses here in millivolts. And I found one here that has a little bit of a draw across it. So you can buy, or you can find charts that show the milliamp voltage drop across a fuse. Basically it becomes like a current shunt, and that corresponds to a certain amount of milliamps. So this one right here, I think is for the dome light. I'm looking at it right. And it's got 2 milliamps, which should correspond to a ½ amp voltage drop. Or amperage draw. Man, words are hard. So let me pull this guy out. Let's see if that goes down. We're still at 5 amps though. We should be seeing something huge somewhere. Well, folks, the problem is that I'm an idiot. So here's what happens when I hook the charger back up. See how it goes to 5 amps? That's because I have the cable, the negative side cable, connected to the chassis, not to the battery. So it's going through the amp meter right now. Life's hard, and it's a lot harder when you're stupid. But the good news is we were on the right track. So if I pull this fuse out for the dome, whatever dome is, there's our 738 milliamps. So anything over about 50 is a problem. So we need to figure out what the dome circuit does. Well, it's a pretty complicated dome light circuit, but remember that it only happens when it rains, or it seems to only happen when it rains, and I'm noticing that there's water coming out of the floor of the trunk. So I think we're going to start there. Yeah, so the light's on here, but I noticed that the amp draw up front is still at 743 milliamps. So I wonder if that light is staying on. Could definitely explain it. What controls that? Oh, what the heck do we have going on here? Uh-oh, Scotch locks. The mark of the beast. Pretty good guess, huh? 34 milliamps, that's fine. That should be a low enough draw that the battery can last, you know, over a month, I would think. So, yeah, I wonder what the solution's going to be. We could just leave that light unplugged. I mean, how much do you really need it? I guess we better satisfy our curiosity and figure out what's really going on. Somehow that doesn't seem right. What's that, for the third brake light, maybe? I don't think it should be pinched underneath of that cowling. That's steel. We'll probably have to fix that. Uh-oh. We've got another little problem right here. Look at that. Is that going to be our smoking gun? Doesn't appear that way. So yeah, it definitely has been pinching that harness, but I don't see where it's caused the wires to cross over or anything like that. Okay, well, we'll just keep moving here, see what happens. I'm getting ahead of myself. This harness is actually for the trunk lid brake light. So it's got another third brake light. Not sure where the switch is for that light, but I'm assuming it's built into the catch, the latch. Come on. Boy, they don't want that thing coming off there, do they? Guess all we need is a quarter turn, not a full gorilla there. So, if I unplug this little switch right here, that should do it. So what happens when I push this down? It works. Works just fine. We got a bolt missing out of it. Yeah. Hang on. I got a theory. Let's try something here real quick. I'm thinking what's happening is when you close the trunk, the struts keep it closed, but it's not latching. Therefore, the light stays on all the time. Yep, I think that's it. So here's the other fun part of this. The circuit actually grounds through the latch. So when this is not touching the body, no current flows through it. So I'm thinking that's maybe where the rain part comes in. High humidity, and now we get moisture between the ear and the body, and suddenly we have a flow of amperage. Because it was just bouncing around in here. That's my theory anyway. I'm sticking with it. I think a couple new bolts and we'll get this guy fixed right up. Now the problem is the nut's missing. So this one's here, it's welded in, but the other one, the weld broke and the nut's gone. At least I don't know if they're welded or not. They might be like a sliding deal, so you can adjust this thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have to try to sneak one in through the back door here. Ah. And the hole is actually bigger than the flange on the nut, so I super glued a washer to it. How can I do what I want to do? Let's try an old school mechanics trick here. Put a little bit of shop towel in the wrench. Yeah, that'll work. Like that. That'll work. Yeah, so it's in a, it must be caged in there so that you can adjust it. So I don't know, we'll just have to kind of guess. I think it could be tighter. Yeah. I don't think it's going to get any better. I guess we better try to tuck these wires in here. So no, they shouldn't be hanging out like that. Alright folks, I think that's it. I double wrapped the harness here that goes up to the brake light. I think we're done inside the trunk. That'll work. Now somebody's been playing around in the fuse box. So this is a 20 amp fuse and it should be a 10. So we'll switch that one out. And then, let's see. That should be a 15, which it is. That should be a 20 instead of a 15. So we'll put a 20 in there. That's a dummy fuse. 7.5, 10, 30. So those are good. 15, 15, 7.5, 7.5, 15. So those are all good. Okay. So maybe give them an extra 10 as a spare. And a spare 30. I don't know, it doesn't tell me what the value of the spares are. Doesn't matter. We got quite a bit of rain last night, as you can probably tell from the fishbowl headlights. Let's see if it'll start. guess Scotty Kilmer was right.
Well, Max is telling me that the mouse has made its way out of the car and under that pallet. He's never wrong. Ever. Just caught one this morning. Didn't you, pup? You're getting cocky, though. You missed this one. Well, from the looks of this top, I'd say that loom wrap being pinched in the trunk seal is the least of its problems. I think most of the water's coming in right here. So I don't know if they're going to keep it outside. They're going to have to put a top on it, or at least fix this one, because it's an absolute, it's just soaked inside. Oh, are you about done? Sorry folks, you have to forgive my pest control system. I think we're done with the Toyota. It sat overnight through a rainstorm and the battery was good. So I'm saying it's fixed. Whether or not the problem was actually related to the rain or not, I don't know. It may have just been a coincidence. It doesn't really matter. You know, it didn't take that long to solve this problem. Yep, I hear you, buddy. Using the voltage drop across the fuses, I was able to find the problem and fix it in less than an hour. So can't complain about that. I'll put a link in the description to the charts from Power Probe that show the voltage drop across a fuse and the corresponding amps that are in the circuit. I found them to be very accurate, and that's it's such a quick way to check for amp draw in a circuit. So yeah, that's it, I guess. I changed the oil, had a look underneath. It's leaking some oil, needs some tires, but otherwise I think it's good to go. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.